The series begins with Cha Moo-hee, a girl with big dreams and an even bigger problem. She is trapped in a spectacular high-decibel public meltdown with a toxic ex-boyfriend in the middle of Tokyo. She had traveled there on a whim after seeing his Instagram post about a fresh start, only to find herself struggling with a language barrier that even her Papago app couldn't bridge. Fate intervenes when she meets Ju Ho-jin. After discovering he is a language expert, she insists he help her confront her ex. When they find him, they discover the new woman in his life is pregnant. Though Moo-hee initially wants to lash out in a fit of rage, she struggles to maintain her dignity. When the other woman accuses Moo-hee of being the husband stealer, Ho-jin steps in. He brilliantly dismantles the ex's ego and spirits Moo-hee away from the humiliation. They spend the following hours sharing their life stories as intimate strangers. Upon learning that Ho-jin's own crush is in the same city, Moo-hee selflessly encourages him not to miss his chance. He leaves her as they head toward dinner to pursue his own happiness, leaving Moo-hee with the ghost of a man who understood her perfectly without her saying a word. Later, the scene shifts to Moo-hee on a movie set. Despite her fear, she decides to perform a dangerous stunt herself. The stunt is a success, but the equipment fails during the reset. As she falls toward the ground, she isn't terrified. She simply smiles with the heartbreaking regret that, despite all the scripted drama, she never had any real fireworks in her own life. Moo-hee wakes up to the life she always envisioned, a hospital room overflowing with gifts and the buzzing energy of newfound fame. Yet, the glamour is punctured when Ho-jin reappears. Instead of the grand romantic gesture she might have hoped for, he has traveled all this way for something painfully pragmatic. To insist she delete a specific social media post. Despite the whirlwind of her rising career, Moo-hee is shaken when her manager reveals that Ho-jin was the one who watched over her in the hospital immediately after her accident. Spiraling into curiosity, she begins stalking Ho-jin's ex-girlfriend, only to eventually offer a humbled apology for her intrusive behavior. When she finally gathers the courage to ask Ho-jin about his true feelings, he shuts her down with icy precision, claiming they were merely strangers and their paths will never cross again. Broken by his rejection, Moo-hee closes her eyes and prays for a different reality. But her peace is shattered by the ghost of Dorami, the complex character she played in the movie. In a surreal blurring of fiction and reality, Dorami pushes her toward a dangerous fall, only for Moo-hee to be caught in the arms of a handsome Japanese actor. When she later encounters Ho-jin in the hotel lobby, she breaks down in tears, terrified that this haunting means her happy life is slipping away. Hiro, a playful and charismatic actor who expects a thank you for saving her on the red carpet. However, the language barrier turns their first real interaction into a comedy of errors. Moo-hee completely misinterprets his approach and simply snaps a selfie with him, leaving him bewildered. Desperate for a sense of safety, Moo-hee uses the haunting of Dorami as a pretext to hire Ho-jin as her personal translator and assistant. On set, Hiro begins to tease her relentlessly in Japanese. Unbeknownst to Moo-hee, her official translator is filtering his insults into glowing compliments. When the truth finally comes out, that Hiro was mocking her and that Ho-jin stood by silently, fully aware of the deception, she erupts in a fit of rage at the man she trusted. Yet, ever the mediator, Ho-jin manages to charm Hiro back into professionalism so the shoot can continue. Moo-hee finds herself smiling again, finding joy in Ho-jin's presence. As the cameras roll, the friction between Hiro and Moo-hee shifts into an unexpected romance. Despite her quirks, her genuine kindness causes the actor to slowly fall for her. However, Moo-hee's heart is elsewhere. When she spots Ho-jin with his former crush, jealousy and the fear of losing him take hold. In a moment of vulnerability, she tells him he should find someone to run away with to avoid her, but Ho-jin coldly pushes her away. Shortly after, news breaks that Ho-jin has been in an accident, leaving a guilt-ridden Moo-hee convinced her earlier curses caused his pain. Their emotional reconciliation follows, even as the language gap continues to cause chaos. Hiro consistently misinterprets Muhi's friendly gestures as signs of love. The tension between the leads finally snaps when Muhi kisses Hojin, only to immediately pull back and nonchalantly blame Dorami for the impulse. Hojin is left stunned by her casual attitude toward the kiss. As Muhi prepares to return to Seoul, she learns that Hojin had intended to meet her much earlier than their actual reconciliation, and she rushes to find him. Her heart sinks when she discovers him with Ji-sun, and she turns to flee. Hojin follows, leading to a final, rain-soaked confrontation. When Muhi desperately asks if he ever liked her, even just a little, his answer finally provides the clarity she's been chasing. Muhi crashes Hojin's place with a new friend for dinner, only to be met with his trademark coldness. Meanwhile, Hiro, still reeling from their encounter on the plane, begins learning English, determined to fly out and clarify their relationship. When they finally meet, Muhi offers a bizarre explanation. It wasn't her who kissed him, but Dorami. As Muhi begins to switch rapidly between her true self and her cinematic persona, Hojin finally sees past the act. He realizes these transitions are a shield for her childhood trauma and deep-seated sadness, offering her the kindness and love she has desperately lacked. Even Hiro is stunned when he witnesses Muhi's emotional volatility firsthand. During their final shoot, Hiro gathers his courage to confess his true feelings in Japanese. Muhi waits breathlessly for Hojin to translate the romantic gesture, but Hojin, driven by his own hidden feelings, deliberately translates it incorrectly. Though the mistranslation leaves her disappointed, it clears the path for Muhi and Hojin to finally share an intimate, honest moment together. As the dust settles, Hiro realizes that Muhi's heart was always anchored to Hojin, and Muhi begins to piece together the truth of their journey. In the series finale, Muhi and Hojin reunite, fully reconciling their past misunderstandings. Wrapped in his love and steady kindness, Muhi's long-held traumas finally begin to heal, proving that she has finally found the fireworks she thought she'd missed.